What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. Kaori Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. And we are on the new Absolute Wonder Woman. I really liked this. This one was kind of like one of those, while still being important, it's like one of those mid-season filler episodes that you kind of find just to introduce a couple of people. So we start out with two women in a shop, and they are, the taller one is writing a note because she's about to leave to go basically like assist. As she opens the door, Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman are there, and we are like introduced basically to Etta Candy and her sister Gia. And the reason that they came is because Wonder Woman needed a witch. So he just came there. Gia would be the witch in the situation. I'm not 100% sure if Etta Candy is also a witch. If that is the case, I like that change. But he just said she asked if he knew any witches, and he came there. But the one that assists her with the magic, with the potion that she's creating, is Gia. So we'll see. And she helps her get all of the things that she needs, and Gia is really kind of nervous about the whole situation, and Etta and Trevor are just like having their conversation in the back, and she's like, you remember when I was like teasing you about you couldn't possibly have met someone as you were describing like Diana? And he was like, I remember that very vividly. She was like, you undersold her. So I love that they're having that conversation about Diana in that manner. And then once she gets it together, basically what she was needing is that while her mechanical arm is an absolutely invaluable thing, she actually needs her arm to do what she needs to do in order to defeat that. And they are able to talk to one another and hear, because she did place a small spell on the building so that they could communicate. And she's trying to get all of that together. So she gets all of the items from Gia, and she performs the ritual that helps grow her arm. We also see that Circe gets a visit from Hecate, and I'm not really sure why I did that. And she's basically telling her of the future. She's having some visions and things like that of Diana in the future, and how she's going to get hurt, and how she's also going to persevere, and how she's going to be like this great asset. And Hecate is just like, you're going to defy me one day to protect her. And she's like, oh my god, I would never. She's like, you will, and that's why I know that this is like the purpose for you, and I'm proud of you, basically. So something's gonna happen for sure. So we get back, and she's talking to Etta, and sees the note that Etta was writing to Gia, and she's like you were gonna go basically outside, and she was like, kinda, yeah. And she's definitely one who doesn't really want to sit by when she feels like she can help. So there was that. So they're trying to get a little plan together. She looks out the door and sees that the tetracide, because nobody is coming to it is trying to find them. So she's putting a plan together, and essentially the plan that she's putting together is the same plan that she had. She just wasn't thinking big enough, as she says. So essentially she needs to get the tetracide to turn back around and come back towards her, so that it's not hurting any of the people there. And so her and Pegasus go out into the water, and she brings up a big ass sword. And while she's doing that, she also releases the screams of people who would be essentially running towards the tetracide and screaming for help, which grabs its attention. And she also says that this is the sound that you'll be hearing, basically, if you fail. So basically motivation to make sure that she does the shit right. And the tetracide does come, and she makes the sword even bigger, does an enchantment on it, and basically slices through it, like during her like prayer to Athena and everything, using Pegasus with his powers and stuff like that. Meanwhile, while that is all happening, we get a look into, I don't know where it's at, but we get a glimpse of Veronica Cale. So there's that. And she says, you know, even if she's able to defeat that, we still have a really big problem on our hands. So I don't have 1,000 things to say about this. I truly do not. I am very impressed with how the story is progressing and the changes that they are making. One of the changes that I did want to bring up is Etta Candy. I have loved Etta Candy's character in comic books, and it was basically after they rebooted her, and they rebooted her as Black, because she started off as, I think, like white redhead, like a white redhead, and that was in the 40s. So of course at that time they made sense. But in 2011, I believe, during like New 52, they did reboot her into a Black woman, and they reestablished what she has always been, and that was being Diana's best friend. And I think that that is also the direction that they are going in this situation. Not only that, but there was also some like queer tension when she first showed up, and then they just full on, I believe she had a relationship at one point with Barbara Minerva. And just the tension between Wonder Woman and Barbara Minerva was enough in a couple books ago. And then the very obvious friendship that is blooming between her and Etta Candy and Gia here and now. And of course, I do think that they are all going to end up crossing paths. So I am interested into seeing if they are going to stick with the with her being either bisexual or lesbian, or if they're just going to have her be just Diana's best friend and quite possibly having that relationship with Barbara prior to her becoming Cheetah. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely loved this. This was fun. The artwork still continues to get me because the artwork is absolutely fabulous, and it keeps you engaged in the story. And the person who, I can't remember who the artist is, but they very much studied like their Greek mythology and like the Greek look, like how Greeks look, because those features on Diana and Circe are chef's kiss. And then just the artwork and how they are portraying Etta, Gia, and even Trevor. They have Veronica looking, because they have like Veronica listed as like the Lex Luthor for Diana. So she's definitely giving that power presence as she's standing there, and you can already tell that she's about to be a problem. I like that. I like how they're leaning into the accuracy and depictions of like Diana and all of the people who are associated with her. So I'm very interested. This one and the Absolute Superman are definitely the best two out of the three. We do get like, you know, Absolute Flash, Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Green Lantern coming soon. Hopefully they all stay up on par with these two, but we will see. I don't know. I'm not sure, but honestly, that is it for this episode. If you have not purchased my book, go ahead and do that, and just pay attention for the podcast as well. And I will see you guys at your next appointment.